Live from WTOC, the Southeast news leader. The News Now starts on WTOC Plus.
Welcome to The News on WTOC Plus. We start with something just into our newsroom. Savannah police responded to reports of a dead body found this morning. Here's what we know. Savannah police say they responded at around 10:35 a.m. where they found a dead person on the 2000 block of Bull Street. They say that their initial investigation does not indicate foul play. Make sure you stick with WTOC for updates. Well, WTOC crews are on scene right now of a structure fire on Laguna Way. You can see some pictures on your scene right now. It appears that a mobile home or some type of structure is on fire. Chatham Fire is currently responding to the flames. You can stick with WTOC for updates on this as well. Well, an arrest has been made after the fatal shooting at Fraser Homes over the weekend. Savannah police arrested 36-year-old John Coleman this morning in connection with that deadly shooting. It all happened on West Gwinnett Street around 6:20 Sunday night. Upon arrival, Savannah police say an adult male victim was found outside of a home suffering from gunshot wounds. He was later pronounced dead at the scene. Coleman has been charged with murder, aggravated assault, and possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony. Well, as we get ready to ring in 2026 in less than 12 hours now, there are some state laws that you should know about that are soon to take effect. First, Georgia's flat state income tax will decrease again. It's all part of a plan to get it under 5% by 2027. Second, a new law will let Georgians create a catastrophe savings account. It gives families a way to save for natural disasters without being taxed. And you may need to be more careful about where you park. Private property owners are now allowed to boot trespassing cars in cities that allow it. Property owners must post warnings. We do have a full breakdown of all the new laws taking effect. That's on our website right now at WTOC.com. Well, there's a new America First license plate you can get for your car, also starting tomorrow. It has an American flag on it to mark the country's 250th birthday next year. It is $90 and then $55 to renew, compared to the standard $20 renewal rate. Republican State Senator Steve Gooch, who's also running for lieutenant governor next year, sponsored the bill, and he says it's a way to show support for President Donald Trump. Well, it's already New Year on the other side of the world. This is a celebration over Sydney Harbor in Australia, which is about 16 hours ahead of us. And it's almost time to turn the page on 2025, and preparations are already underway to ring in the new year. That's where security has been tight for the biggest party of them all, and Bradley Blackburn has the story.
New York's Times Square is pulling out all the stops for tonight's iconic crystal ball drop, set to fall twice to usher in America's 250th anniversary year.
We are going to have the most confetti ever, red, white, and blue.
Thousands of police officers will be on the ground, with more than 1 million people expected to brave the cold to celebrate in person.
We're going to do our part. We need you to do your part. If you see something, say something.
National Guard troops have been deployed to New Orleans' historic Bourbon Street, 1 year after a man drove his truck through a crowd of revelers there, killing 14 people.
We feel a lot safer having them here.
In Australia's Sydney Harbour, early arrivals could snag the best view of the fireworks show. Officials there say 2,500 police officers will patrol the festivities, the most ever, more than 2 weeks after 15 people were gunned down during a Hanukkah event at Bondi Beach.
We need to show defiance in the face of this evil, and the best way of doing that is to spend some time with your friends and your family on New Year's Eve.
Clockmakers in London are fine-tuning the mechanics of Big Ben.
As it gets closer and closer, we do hourly time checks just to make sure that the clock is as close to proper time as we can get it.
To ensure the nearly 200-year-old landmark chimes right at the stroke of midnight to ring in the new year. Kamal Afzali, CBS News, London.
And we want to spend a moment to take a live look at your right on Times Square as they get ready to drop the ball at midnight. And, of course, back here close to home as 2025 does come to a close and the New Year's festivities begin. First responders right here in the Coastal Empire are gearing up for what's expected to be a pretty busy evening. Chatham EMS officials say they are fully staffed and ready to run calls all night. Their EMTs and paramedics usually respond to more emergencies involving car crashes, people who are unresponsive, and firework-related injuries on New Year's Eve. Communications Chief Tom Herden says some people even fire their guns in the air to celebrate the occasion. He wants to remind people that celebratory gunfire is not only illegal in Georgia, but it can also be dangerous. However, the leading cause of injuries that responders see on New Year's Eve is still fireworks.
We've seen like fingers lacerated off, and eye injuries, a lot of eye facial injuries. Burns is a big thing, especially like sparklers.
Savannah Fire Department officials say if you're planning to put on your own fireworks show tonight, there are a few things you should keep in mind. Don't light fireworks under the influence, never leave a child unattended around fireworks or let them light fireworks by themselves, and light one firework at a time, and then make sure you move away safely.
We always want to recommend having a fire extinguisher close by and a water source close by and a way to extinguish the fireworks after they've been used. Eye protection is recommended, gloves if you have them.
Savannah Fire also wants residents to remember that fireworks can be set off until 1 a.m. on January 1st. Turning now to health news, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says Georgia's flu activity is in the very high category. Children's Healthcare of Atlanta released a statement saying that they've tested nearly 1,200 patients and half of them with respiratory symptoms have the flu. Owner of Kid Care Pediatrics, Dr. Helena Bentley, says she's seeing more kids and sicker kids than previous years, and she says this is why.
The climate that we're in, we're increasing the non-vaxxers in this country. And when we increase non-vaxxers, we're not taking into the account of all of these things that can rapidly spread among our population.
Dr. Bentley says the flu's subclass strains, meaning mutations of the virus, may be adding more cases this year. She says vaccinations are still critical because they decrease the severity of the illness and how long you're sick. Well, Georgia's set to get more than $218 million in the first year of a new federal rural health transformation program. While state leaders say it could reshape healthcare, doctors fear it may be too late. 9 rural Georgia hospitals have closed since 2010. At a South Georgia clinic on the Alabama border, people have to drive 30 minutes to an hour just to see a doctor. And that doctor is the only one left in her county. At 70 years old, she's working 12-hour days. She worries the plan's not sustainable and won't solve the rural healthcare crisis.
Drop-in telehealth pods. I guess that's a do-it-yourself ER. Self-service ER. They're developing health transportation networks, but there's no funding to continue to pay the transportation. There's funds for recruiting nurses, but no money to actually pay the nurses once you recruited them.
Critics of the program also worry it won't be enough because of Medicaid cuts and Affordable Care Act subsidies that expire tomorrow. Moving up to South Carolina, the South Carolina Department of Public Health is reporting 20 new cases of the measles in the upstate, bringing the outbreak's total to 176. Officials say new cases stem from household, school, and church exposures, while several cases do remain under investigation. Nearly 300 people are currently in quarantine, with the latest expected to end January 21st. 3 patients, both adults and children, have been hospitalized with complications related to the virus.
It can spread through respiratory secretions. Somebody can cough. You can be in the same room. It takes a very low inoculum, meaning just a few particles of measles will infect somebody.
Health leaders warn measles is contagious even before a rash appears, and they urge anyone who may have been exposed to notify a healthcare provider before seeking out treatment. The SCDPH says staying home while sick or in quarantine is critical to slowing the spread. In sports news, a second straight Sugar Bowl and a second game this season against Ole Miss awaits Georgia tomorrow on New Year's Day. However, before the Dogs are let loose in the Superdome, it was time for Media Day in New Orleans and a chance to ask players some lighter-duty questions, including something about their head coach's choice of words. Bailey Burmaster with our sister station in Atlanta has more.
Georgia head football coach Kirby Smart didn't have a headset but a mic as he took the podium for Sugar Bowl Media Day. However, if you don't like loud noises, Georgia football practice may not be for you. It's where Big Curb is known for letting out frustration on his players who occasionally lack attention to detail.
Damn, somebody tell him what he's doing wrong. Damn it. Let's go.
You at practice, so you hearing it, and then like you go like on TikTok or something, and then you see it, you like we not the only ones hearing. There's people walking down the street, but it's probably the worst feeling, like getting yelled at by Kirby on the mic. It's like, because you think like not only the people at practice can hear it, but like people down Lumpkin can hear, like the whole campus can pretty much hear you getting cussed out.
It was Tuesday, I think. He caught me. I was trying to jog to my next period, but I guess I wasn't going fast enough for him, so he kind of ripped me on the mic a little bit. I definitely sped up for sure, though. I got going for sure. But no, I think he got on me Tuesday. But it's every once in a while with him. He gonna find a moment to get you.
Everybody, if you have a helmet on, not even a helmet, like you're probably getting it.
Sources close to the matter tell me the position group that hears it the most from Kirby, well, that's definitely going to be the DBs. Reporting from the Sugar Bowl, Bailey Burmaster, Atlanta News First.
Well, it's also an exciting week for one Bulldog fan who went viral when he refused to sing Rocky Top at his school concert. And now the diehard fan is getting a Sugar Bowl surprise. 11-year-old Nolan McGill lives in Tennessee but roots for the Dogs. This video went viral and grabbed the attention of sports apparel company Fanatics. So they sent Christmas carolers to Nolan's house, singing the Bulldogs fight song and surprising him with tickets to the Sugar Bowl. Now he gets to sing Glory, Glory to Old Georgia in person at the game tomorrow afternoon. And from one football to another, next summer's FIFA World Cup tournament is already setting records. FIFA says it's gotten more than 150 million ticket requests from people across the globe, making it the highest demand World Cup in history. Fans do still have a chance to get tickets through a random selection draw on January 13th. Atlanta is hosting 5 group stage matches and a round of 32 game, as well as a round of 16 game and a semifinal match. It all starts June 15th with Spain and Cabo Verde. Well, right now, the Buddhist monks on the Walk for Peace are in Gwinnett County. They started this walk back in October and are making their way to Washington, D.C. to promote peace along the way. Sadly, one of the monks was hit by a car when they were in Texas, but now he's back home in Snellville, Georgia, just in time for the monks to see him today. The accident happened on November 11th in Dayton City, which is about 30 miles east of Houston. Pra Ajar Palmason is a member of the Buddhist temple in Snellville, Georgia, but he had joined the monks on the Walk for Peace when they started back in October. He says they were walking on the side of the road when a car hit their escort vehicle, which then crashed into him. He first thought he died, but then learned he had lost his left leg in the accident. He says there is some good that has come out of his injury.
Before the accident, the Walk for Peace movement was still unknown, and not too many people knew about it. But after my injury, it sparked a lot of interest in many different communities and brought a lot of attention to not only Walk for Peace, but to Buddhism as well.
And while Palmason cannot take part in the walk any longer, he says he will ultimately meet up with the monks when they reach Washington, D.C. in February. Turning now to consumer news, you may be headed out for a fine meal this New Year's Eve and could be in for a bit of a sticker shock at the end. But now some restaurants are doing away with those surprises as Americans grow wary of what's now being called tipflation. CBS's Ite Hot, spoke with the owner and servers of a San Francisco restaurant who are changing the way that customers are charged.
It's another packed night at La Cigale, where Chef Joseph Magadow is the star of the show. He's preparing a high-end southern French feast for the 15 people who were lucky enough to get a front row seat.
It's all family style.
It looks like the start of any other great dinner, until you realize this place has cut out the part that usually causes the most indigestion.
You get to the end and all of a sudden you have this check and it's like a Spirit Airlines bill where it's like plus this, plus that, plus that.
So La Cigale did something rare. They 86 the surprises, restaurant lingo for taking them off the menu. Food here is all-inclusive, $140 per person. No tax, no service fees, no tip.
There's no tip line on the check. When you sign your bill, that's the end of the transaction.
A growing number of restaurants are now test driving tip-free dining, a pushback against what many call tipflation. A recent survey found 41% of Americans think tipping has gotten out of control. Among them, Jenny Bennett.
Everywhere you go, even for the smallest little item, they're flipping around the little iPad.
Servers here make about $40 an hour, whether the night is slow or slammed. The upside, more stability. The downside, no more of those big tip nights.
Of course.
But for Claire Bivens, it's a trade worth making.
It creates a sense of security for everyone and definitely takes a degree of pressure off from each night.
As for the bottom line, it hasn't taken a hit, says hostess Laurel Jansen.
You guys are fully booked.
We are fully committed this evening.
Because here, the only tip you need is to show up early. Everything after that is just gravy. Itai Hot, CBS News, San Francisco.
And finally, if you want to start the new year with a splash tomorrow, consider the 26th annual Tybee Island Polar Plunge. It is fun for the whole family. The event kicks off at 10:30 tomorrow morning with the Gang of Goofs costume contest and parade. Then at noon, it's time to take the plunge as brave participants run into the Atlantic Ocean. It's all happening just off the Tybee Pier. And with that, we're going to wrap things up here for the news on WTOC Plus. Appreciate you spending part of your New Year's Eve afternoon with us. We'll be back with another round of stories in just about 40 minutes at 2 o'clock. And in the meantime, you can always head on over to our website to get the latest updates at WTOC.com. Thanks for watching, and here's Local News Live.